This is Full-Time Devils. My name is Stephen Howson, and this is Depression Update Monday. How is everybody doing? We are brought to you by our friends at Quiff, the only sports betting app where you could be supercharged. Link is in the description below. Definitely go and check that out. It's a really good betting app, and that's about the only good thing that we've got to talk about today. So, United went to Anfield. Jose Mourinho hasn't lost as United manager to Jurgen Klopp, despite all of the praise and the adulation that Jurgen Klopp has been getting, and got spanked. You have to pay for a spanking like that usually. It's not so cheap. I actually don't even know how you begin. I mean, we've got the gaffer, we've got the lads in United on YouTube, and they're probably echoing every single thing that you guys are all thinking as well at home. Get your comments in. Try and give us some really long-winded questions and we can get into them, because if you're just sitting here going, he's crap and sack him and do this, that and the other, doesn't get us anywhere, does it? Doesn't really add to a discussion. So give us something to actually discuss and we can do that. But we have got the manager's press conference coming up, and I'll tell you what, it's must-see viewing just to see how mental it is. It's absolutely must-see viewing. Now, I get a lot of stick on here. People say, you're a Jose apologist, this, that and the other. You're not listening to what I've said for months. I've been saying, I don't think this is the guy to take us forward. I've also been saying, he's not the only problem at the club. Today I watched some videos from a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. Is it 3 years ago? No, 2.5 years ago, when we was looking at getting rid of Louis van Gaal. And the same things that we were saying there and then. Literally saying, need a defender, need a midfielder, need a right winger. And we were saying Jose, when he comes in, has got a certain set of requirements. And we didn't give him any of those things that he's requiring to do. Jose Mourinho, can you listen to what I say before you just start raging in the comments? For weeks, I've been saying, I blame him for a lot of the issues. I blame him for his attitude coming right through from the summer, all the way back to the Sevilla game. And some people still call me a Jose apologist. Listen, just because I don't sit here going, listen, Robbie, it's time to go, right? Enough is enough and all that caper, doesn't mean that I'm standing there with a Jose in banner at the ground. There's nuances to this stuff. I don't think he's the man to take us forward. I think you would get a slight improvement in this team just by the fact somebody else was in charge. You might get like new signings from within our current squad, because at the moment we've got a guy that won the World Cup that's being absolutely slandered by our manager at the moment. You telling me he wasn't good enough to come and do anything in that game yesterday? Jose talks in his press conference about physical players. Paul Pogba's a bit of a physical player. See the size of the guy. The issue that United have stems from the leadership. And we've said this, how many times have I said hierarchy of blame? Owners, Woodward, Mourinho, players, everybody is responsible. Now you can argue about specific percentages all you like. It's not equal, players to manager, to owners to board. They're all at some point responsible. It's not 0% and it's not 100%. There's something with all of them. Jose Mourinho very clearly is not the manager to take United forward from this stage. He's ostracised the fans. He's ostracised the best players in this club. If he'd have got his way in the summer, he would have got rid of Marshall, Pogba and Luke Shaw. He tried to. The board stopped him. There's no way United are better for extending Ashley Young, Chris Smalling and Fellaini's contract and letting Marshall, Pogba and Luke Shaw go. On one hand, I go, you have to give the manager what he needs. You have to let him build the team in his image. On the other hand, you go, what the hell does that image look like? I don't know how long Jose will last. I suspect longer than all of us think, because Woodward doesn't have the bollocks to get rid of the guy. Because if Ed Woodward gets rid of him, we've levelled up arguably 3 times with our manager. Well, clearly David Moyes wasn't a level up, but we've levelled up twice with the 3 managers that we've had. We bring in David Moyes. We absolutely levelled up when we brought in Louis van Gaal. And actually going watching back some of the videos which I did this morning and going looking at what we were saying about Louis van Gaal in that final season, there was progression. There was youth debuts, left, right and centre. We levelled up on David Moyes with Louis van Gaal. And nobody would question at the time that we levelled up on Louis van Gaal with Jose Mourinho. If we've levelled up with two of the best available managers at the time, and make no mistake, Jose Mourinho was the best manager available in the world at the time. And we've not been able to do it because we haven't given him the resources that he needs. You can argue about he spent 400 million. He didn't sign Paul Pogba. He very clearly doesn't like Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba fits into a very specific style of play that you get the best out of Paul Pogba, and Jose's not interested in that. What you might see happen, I think it's going to be very interesting over the next 6 weeks or so. I'll be shocked if Paul Pogba either doesn't move in January or doesn't engineer a move that happens in the summer this January. I'll be very shocked where the board loyalties lie. Do they lie with the manager that Ed Woodward has appointed? Third managerial appointment now for Ed Woodward. That's arguably failed. When does his neck get put on the line? Or does it lie with the number one commercial entity, biggest signing, Adidas wearing, Paul Pogba, World Cup winner? Which one? Because we're going to find out. We are going to find out whether Woodward values commercial and stays with Pogba and gets rid of the manager. I mean, you could even argue that keeping older Pogba, if the manager's probably going to go in 6 months anyway, would be massive for United, and give whoever comes in after him one of the best midfielders in the world, which he is. Don't buy into the propaganda coming out of Jose about him being a virus. It's absolutely not correct. Or does it go with Jose Mourinho, supposedly one of the best managers in the world? Jonathan in the comments, Fergie was allowed to let players like Ince, Beckham and Stam go. Jose needs the full backing and complete control of the footballing aspects at the club. He does. He does. But if you don't have the full faith in him to do that, then you can't allow him to do that. Fergie did have the full backing of everybody. Edward says, Mourinho definitely signed Pogba. He clearly stated when he first came, put him on his list of players included. He didn't. 2 years the deal was in the making for Paul Pogba, and one of his close friends came out the other day and said Pogba was a commercial signing. He wasn't someone that Jose Mourinho wanted. That's out there. The deal took 2 years. Jose Mourinho was winning the league with Chelsea when that deal started. Pogba was not his signing. And if you look at the sort of players that we want, that he likes to play, Pogba doesn't fit into the systems that Jose likes to play. Carlo Ancelotti for United manager. Ancelotti's old at the moment. Ancelotti I wouldn't have minded immediately after Fergie. It feels like a bit too long has gone. Ahmad in the comments, I'm off this channel because they keep defending the bus driver. Can you not hear properly? Are you fucking stupid? I don't know how long I've sat here. Again, there's someone else. Stop defending this utter shambles of a manager. At what point have I defended him? I literally just sat here and said, don't think he's the guy that can take us forward. You need to listen. Chris says, is there any point in keeping Mourinho and allowing him to spend more, or rather just let McKenna be the interim manager? The problem of being Manchester United manager is it's more. You have to be more than qualified to do it from a footballing level. Because do you know what? I think Eddie Howe is probably qualified from a footballing level, but Eddie Howe isn't qualified from the commercial level, which is a factor that you have to play into for United. United can't go and sign someone from the French second division because there's not enough sparkle and shine about them. It's the same with Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe might be a fine manager and he might actually take United to the next level. But because we don't have people with actual football intelligence running the football club, you've got commercial people that use 15-year-old person's logic and FIFA to go and sign their players. I mean, look at some of the people that we have signed. I mean, all of us, quite rightly so, got excited with Falcao, with Di Maria, with Schweinsteiger, with Pogba, and they failed. Sanchez. None of these players was because the manager at the time was like, that's a commercial factor. Listen to Ed Woodward when he does his shareholder conference calls. talks about the impact that these players can have on the image and the brand of Manchester United. He's never said, this guy's going to score a shit ton of goals, watch him go. And he's going to fire us to the top and challenge us for the league. Because he don't give a shit about that. Do you think we can sign a decent centre-back to help us go further in the Champions League, or do I think it's not going to make a difference? I think a centre-half would make us a difference. Now, we've obviously just drawn Paris Saint-Germain. You can go and see the draw reaction video on this channel after you've finished entertaining yourself with this absolute festival of a video that we've got here. Are we going to get over Paris Saint-Germain by signing one defender? I don't think so. The mood and the attitude of the club at the moment needs a wash. It needs a refresh. There's so many things wrong. But let's get to one of them. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying? Here's one of them. Jose Mourinho.
The performance, the players, they gave everything. And when the players, they give everything, I'm never upset or frustrated with them. I have a good feeling towards them. They play in relation to their qualities, the same way the opponent played in relation to their qualities. They are fast, they are intense, they are aggressive, they are physical, they are objective. They play 200 miles per hour with the ball and without the ball. I am still tired just to look at Robertson. He makes, I think, 100-meter sprint per minute. Absolutely incredible, and these are qualities. So when the game was really intense in the first 20-25 minutes, it was difficult for us to cope with it. In the second half, when the game slowed down, when we compact better, when we had more time to have the ball and to play, we were in a good position in the game with the 1-1, with 20-25 minutes to go, and with some semi-dangerous approaches in the box. So it's hard to lose in the moment where the game was dying, and when Van Dijk, Fabinho, Lovren, they were coming with the ball, they didn't find space, they had to shoot from 30 meters, shots easy to David, shots to the stands, and it's exactly in that moment where we were completely under control that we lose the game with two shots that David says easy shots, but because of the rebounds there were goals. So I would say Liverpool deserves the victory, but it's hard for my players to work hard like they did and to lose exactly in the moment where we didn't believe that we would lose. If you tell me in the first 20 minutes we are going to lose, I would say yes, it looks so. But in the moment we lost the game is exactly in the moment where we don't believe we are going to lose.
Difficult day for Romelu today. Was it a bit of a thankless task for him today?
Sorry?
Difficult day for Romelu Lukaku today.
I think he didn't have a bad game at all. I think he fought it hard. He had good movement. He set up the goal. He gave more problems today than he gave last season when we came here for the 0-0 draw. He was lively. He had good movement. He had good interaction. Sometimes his first touch is not the best, and he loses lots of balls in the first touch. Today didn't happen. He had some good link. I think he fought hard. I think he's improving. He played positively the last game against Fulham, and today a very difficult match to play. I think he was positive. What gives me that belief? Gives me the belief that we are going to make much more points in the second part of the season than we did in the first part. We played away. I know that we lost some of other matches, but we played away Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man City. Probably the three best teams, a part of Tottenham. But we play with them away. We have, I think, the possibility to do much more points in the second part of the season than we did in the first part. First of all, we have lots of problems related with physicality. We have lots of players that I could consider injury prone, because some of our players, they are always injured, and is not with me. Was before me. Was, if you look to the stats with Mr. Van Gaal and before Mr. Van Gaal with David, if you look to that period, we have players that are permanently injured. When you are permanently injured, physicality is very difficult to get. Then there are qualities that a player has or doesn't have. You cannot improve, you cannot make them have. I give you an example. Robertson, Mane, Salah, Wijnaldum, Keita, Fabinho, they are physical players. In the top of that, they are good players technically. I also have lots of good players technically, but we don't have many players with that intensity, with that physicality. So when the game has high levels of intensity, it's difficult for us. Our first 20 minutes was difficult for us. Then, when we had the ball, when the tension went down, when the intensity went down, was easier for us to be in the game. We managed to have the ball and to bring the game into, I would say, our side, in the sense of now we are playing the way we can. And these are our qualities. And I think you like to say sometimes that is the manager's choice. You can compare my Porto team with Liverpool. You can compare, because the qualities of the players are there. Was my best team in defensive transition. We lose the ball, we bite like mad dogs, and we recover the ball after 2 seconds. In Real Madrid, I had my best team in direct counter-attack, because I had young Di Maria, young Ronaldo, young Higuain, and young Benzema. We killed everybody in offensive transition. And in Inter, I had my best team in a defensive low block, where people like Materazzi, Samuel, Lucio, Cordoba, in a low block, you can be there 5 hours and you don't concede a goal. So players make teams play in a certain way. I don't think a football team is just the squad. It's much more than the squad. And I repeat, I'm really, really happy with the players that I had on the pitch, with their attitude, with their effort. I'm more than happy. I'm more than happy. And because I'm more than happy, I assume the responsibilities of the defeat, and I want them to be hidden behind me. They gave absolutely everything. Honest people, they gave absolutely everything. Eric Bailly know that he plays 1 minute before the game. Lindelof trained 1 day to play. Dalot trained 1 day to play. Damian trained 1 day to play. Ashley Young play with a sore ankle. And I could go on and on and on. I'm happy with the players' commitment and the players' attitude. I feel really sorry for them, because I think their effort don't deserve to lose the game in the way we did it. If we concede 2 goals in the first 20 minutes, I would say, okay, the best team just killed us in the first 20 minutes. To lose the way we did, in the moment we did, I feel sorry for the boys.
Okay, guys, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
No. Because I'm happy with Matic, Lingard and Herrera.
That was Jose Mourinho, everybody, and as I can see from the comments, everyone really loved hearing from our manager after that performance at Liverpool. On a serious note, a lot of what he says is quite true. And the truth hurts at times. It's just the fact that the way he comes out of it is just not acceptable. yes, Liverpool have this intensity that we couldn't match. You're the guy that can change that. That's kind of all you're there to do. He said he was happy that he thought the players gave everything. He's not upset or frustrated. I tell you what, mate, 100 million United fans worldwide are frustrated and upset at that. And he's got to be. Jose Mourinho, with the ego that he's got, the winner that he is, there has to be some part of him that goes back home and goes, that was a disgrace. And he wasn't wrong when he said, do you know what? There was one bar he was definitely wrong on. When he said at 1-1, we were still sort of in the game. We was. And we had an opportunity that we could have nicked something. But don't say we was in control of the game. Because we're about as in control of that game as I am what the weather does outside. Yeah? I might be dressed well for it, but I'm not in control of it. Not in the slightest. We was hanging on in that game 1-0 by some good goalkeeping and a bit of good fortune. Now, yes, there was deflections on their shots. But deflections happen. There's no way you can sit there and go, well, that went exactly how I thought it was going to go. Do you know what? It went how I thought it was going to go, but you can't say you're happy that it went that way. You're the guy that can change that. You're the guy that can change the mentality of that. Right at the end of the press conference, someone says, should Pogba have played? And he says no. I'm sorry for anybody that thinks Marouane Fellaini is a better footballer than Paul Pogba. Yes, players have their uses. Yes, players have the characteristics which makes them a better option and in certain positions, but not on any planet ever has Marouane Fellaini been a better footballer than Paul Pogba. And that, fundamentally, is the issue. Jose Mourinho's fell out with a core of players right the way through this team that don't give a shit about him anymore and fundamentally don't give a shit about the club anymore. And because of that, we are in a right mess. "36 shots in control." Yeah. Didn't all of their outfield players have a shot on our goal? I've never even heard of such things happening. There was no cohesion. I mean, even if you go, do you know what? Like, there was the gameplay to sit back and soak it up. We didn't look like we were solid. He mentions his great Inter Milan team, where he talked about the low block that they had. And you said we could play all day and we won't score against them. We didn't have that, did we? In the slightest. They was walking into our box from midfield. No challenges going in there. That's why he changed formation and tried to mix it up a little bit in the second half. But it still wasn't good enough, because when we got the ball down and we tried to play it forward, there was just nothing about those challenges that those balls where you ever thought that they was going to get on the end of them. Rashford was our most lethal outlet yesterday. How many times did we put the ball in front of him? In the first few minutes, he had Klein on toast, right? How many more times did we try to get him in that position to take on Klein and get him behind? Not many. The goal actually comes from Lukaku going round the back and getting a cross in from that side. Marcus goes round that defence where Lovren and Klein are all day long. We didn't play to our attributes. We didn't play to a system that would have allowed us to win this game. Even parking the bus, which is a legitimate tactic against a team that's in the form that Liverpool are. But we didn't park the bus. We sort of pulled up in a scooter and was like, see what happens. 36 shots. 36 shots. I don't think Huddersfield go to Anfield and expect to concede 36 shots. There's a lot of people in the comments saying football has changed and Jose Shelter failed to change with it. I actually don't think that's the case. And I actually do think he'll probably go on and probably be successful after United. He is the right man for Manchester United. He's not the right man with this team that we have got. But unfortunately, it's always cheaper to get rid of a manager than it is 20-something players. And it'll be him that goes. And arguably, quite rightly so, because a lot of this mess is his own doing. Governor Bandicoot says, all this aside, can we just say Herrera, Jay Lings and Rashford were class yesterday? Underutilised, but class. I thought Herrera looked a bit off the pace, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah. Should we see what the lads in United on YouTube are going to say? I think we all know what they're going to say, but it's worth listening to all the same. Check it out.
Did Jose pick the right team? Absolutely not. Did he wait too late to make his changes? Absolutely. Did he make the right changes? No.
He doesn't want to win. Simply, he does not want to win. That's what I put it down to.
To be honest, it was just a shambles, really. The club's wrong from top to bottom. I just can't explain. Liverpool away, the players just didn't seem to be bothered, really. It looks awful.
I am absolutely fuming. It's just so exhausting. It's just so exhausting watching Man United.
Hello, Full-Time Devils. It's Chris, aka Zorro, massive fan, been subscribed for years. It's my first video I'm sending you guys. What an awful game that was. So many bad talking points. Mourinho needs to go. He needs to go tonight. Several reasons, but probably the biggest reason for me is I want to see our club happy again.
Liverpool ran riot. We had no midfield. We had no width. We had no depth. We had no follow-through. Just dreadful.
If you wanted to win, Paul Pogba would play every game. I understand you have your issues with him, but he's clearly our best outfield player. And we lack serious transition from defence to attack.
Just obvious, Wood needs to go, Glazers needs to go. We're miles behind Liverpool. I don't really see the point in Mourinho being sacked, to be honest, because who are we going to get in? Who wants to take over that awful team that we've got? Pochettino, he won't leave Spurs. Zidane, he had Varane and he had Ramos there, and now he's going to come to Swan and Jones. It's just not going to happen.
I don't think Jose knows how to fix it. It's just not working. A lot of it is missing. It's just not working. A whole team can't break down. Defense isn't stopping. Attack isn't scoring. Midfield is just stagnant. I have never seen a team just completely break down like we've. In football, you really get once in a while you get what you deserve. Today we absolutely got what we deserve.
I want to see players, where's the dancing from Lingard gone? It's all gone. Mourinho needs to go. Top to bottom, there's issues, but it starts with Mourinho. He's the one that needs to go.
It's serious. It's unfortunate. And that's as much as I have to say. It's not good enough. Every week I keep saying it's not good enough. I don't know what else to say. Stay locked in and subscribe to Full-Time Devils.
But yeah, it was awful. That's one word. There's only one word I can describe it really. Gonna watch the darts now, calm myself down a bit. But if anyone's going to the Cardiff game next week, say aye. But till then, subscribe to Full-Time Devils if you want. Bye.
I even think we got lucky it ended 3-1. We didn't offer anything. This is so heartbreaking.
Completely echoing what everybody always thought, wasn't it, Olem? So thank you to everyone that got involved sending us a video. Please vent your frustrations by sending us a video after next week's 0-0 with Cardiff. The link will be in the description below, fulltimedevils@gmail.com. Send us a 30-second review of the game and tell us why you think we didn't win next weekend. James, I love you, brother, but the darts line absolutely creased me. Are we making people turn to darts now? Is that better than watching United? There's still people in the comments thinking that I back Jose. Get an adult to help you understand what's been said. You maniacs. Listen, thank you guys for getting involved. Thank you to the sensible people in the comments. Thank you to everyone who comes and speaks to us after a match. Full match day coverage and everything coming out around Cardiff. Go and check out the video from earlier where we found out that it's Paris Saint-Germain that get the honour of knocking us out of this year's Champions League. We'll be back with all our usual stuff. See you in a bit. Laters.